Hello world. Today I'm going to talk to you finally about Steve Yzerman and where he actually ranks in terms of all-time hockey players and even sports athletes for that matter. Steve Yzerman scored 50 goals 5 out of 6 years. Does that make sense? So in 6 years, he scored 50 or more goals 5 times. And the only people to have done that in hockey, other than Steve Yzerman, is, I don't know, Wayne Gretzky, Mario Lemieux, Mike Bossy, Brett Hull. I don't know if Cam Neely did it. Maybe Cam Neely and maybe Gordie Howe. But that's about it. About five players. He scored 100 points 6 straight years. And the only other players I've ever known to do that was Wayne Gretzky and Mario Lemieux. He scored 155 points in 1 year. And nobody has gotten more points in 1 year except for Wayne Gretzky and Mario Lemieux. Steve Yzerman has won so many awards. He captained his team. I think as captain, the Detroit Red Wings have probably won 6 or 7 President's Cups. They've won 3 Stanley Cups. He's won the Lester B. Pearson Award voted by the players as the most outstanding hockey player. And all of a sudden, early in his career, he's been putting up these massive numbers, and then he wasn't winning a Stanley Cup. So in comes Scotty Bowman and tells him, listen, now you have to be a two-way player. And now today everybody talks about two-way players. Everybody thrives and wants to be a two-way player. But Yzerman went from this juggernaut. He went from 137 points that year, and the next year when Scotty Bowman became coach, Steve Yzerman never hit 100 points again, I believe. Back to the things. He scored 60 goals back-to-back, 2 years in a row. No other players except for, I don't know, Pavel Bure, Brett Hull, Wayne Gretzky and Mario Lemieux are the only ones who've done that too, to my knowledge. But anyways, I'm trying to do this on one take, and this is the best I'll do, but I'm going to keep trying here. He won the Selke Trophy after being that offensive juggernaut for being the best defensive forward. Now, Mario Lemieux and Wayne Gretzky, Brett Hull, Pavel Bure, Gordie Howe, for that matter, all these great players that are put on that pedestal for the most elite hockey players in the world, never ever turned their game and became a two-way player and won the best defensive player with all their offensive talents. Now, Steve Yzerman also won gold medal for Canada in 2002, I believe, and 3 Stanley Cups. The longest serving captain in NHL history, in sports history maybe. Now this is why I love Steve Yzerman so much. When they put out the top 50 list of all-time greatest hockey players back in the late 90s, Steve Yzerman wasn't even on that top 50 list. And by this time, he's already amassed those 6 straight 100-point years. Those 5 out of 6 50-goal years. And that one time he didn't score 50 goals, he scored 45. He's been doing this. He was not voted on the top 50 list of all time. Why? What the heck is that? I think before the top 50 list came out, Wayne Gretzky put out a book, the top 100 hockey players of all time. And he, if I remember correctly, he put Steve Yzerman number 73rd or something like that, 76th at that time. I know for a fact now Wayne Gretzky really respects Steve Yzerman. He probably considers him one of the all-time greatest top 5 players of all time now. But at that time, he put him at like number 73 or something ridiculous like that. Why? I don't get it. I just don't get it. Another thing that he's been denied, in that same year he won the gold medal for Team Canada with Mario Lemieux and Jerome McGinley on that line, with Paul Kariya sometimes as well. Joe Sakic had a great gold medal run that year. He was great. He won the MVP actually. Joe Sakic's another beaut. But he's not no Steve Yzerman. People compare him to Steve Yzerman a lot, but I'm sorry, Joe. Stevie's just a little bit higher class. He's just a little bit on an upper echelon level than Joe is. As much as I love Joe Sakic. But that year, during the last 2 rounds of the Olympics, his knee got so messed up. But hey, he played through it and he ended up winning the gold medal. He was a big, huge factor. When him and Lemieux played on that line was something else. But then after that, he had to return to Detroit, and he was getting criticism by the Red Wing press saying he was so selfish for him to play on that bad knee and sacrifice and potentially have the risk of having him not be able to perform for the Detroit Red Wings. So there are some people in the press who are criticizing him for being selfish and going off and to play for Team Canada and win that gold medal. And you know what, I bet that hurt him, because that really hurt. Oh, for sure that must have hurt him. So, that year, 2002, the playoffs began, and he just came back from this reconstructive surgery. The worst knee, he was pretty much bone on bone, no cartilage. They were just waiting for his leg. They were waiting for his knee to give out. He was literally playing on that one knee, one leg, that entire year from the playoffs. The most courageous, toughest feat in sports history, to go all those rounds. 6 games per round, 7 games, you know, all those rounds, round after round after round after round after round. I don't know, what's it, 5 rounds? Best out of 7s on that one leg. And guess who was the leading scorer on that Detroit Red Wing team? On one leg. Steve Yzerman. And when they're handing out the Conn Smythe Trophy, which he won a couple years before, with that much of a heroic act, that threshold of pain that there's nobody else that I know today who would tough it out like that, when they're announcing now the Conn Smythe winner is for the playoff MVP, it would be Steve Yzerman, right? No. They shut him for that as well. So he's the leading scorer, second leading scorer, I think, in the league for the playoffs, behind Peter Forsberg that year, I think, or something like that. And on that one knee, they give the Conn Smythe Trophy to Nicklas Lidstrom. I love Nicklas Lidstrom, but again, he was shunned again for that. He should have won that. You know, so if we go back and see, where do I rank Steve Yzerman all time? Strictly by the numbers, like I was mentioning, there was only about 3 or 4 guys who did what he did. So Steve Yzerman is probably number 4 or 5, maybe number 3. I would take him number 3 all time behind Gretzky and Lemieux. But Bobby Orr did his thing and Gordie Howe did his thing. But other than those players, there would be nobody. It would be insane. Insane to not put Steve Yzerman number 4, top 5 all time in hockey. All time. But you guys don't give him the credit. He doesn't even get put in the top 50 list of all time. There's got to be something wrong there. And you know, he could have gone anywhere else for more money, but he stayed. And there's just one more thing that I'm missing about this. What else is it about Stevie that's just so great? The guy has won everything. Oh yes, let's go back to his rookie season too. He's the leading scorer. He's the leading scorer for rookies in his rookie season. He scores like 85 points or something like that. The leading scorer for rookies. You would think that they would give him the award for Rookie of the Year. They gave it to Tom Barrasso. I mean, a goalie. They didn't give a goalie award for a long time, but again, he got shut. I don't know why he's been looked over so many times. He has 692 goals. That puts him in the top 10 all time. He has, I don't know what his assists are, but again, pure number wise, he's in the top 10 in assists all time. And for points, he is, I think, 6th all time in points. And you don't put this guy in the top 50 list of all time? Come on. Oh, did I tell you? He became the general manager of Team Canada a year or two ago. And yes, they won gold medal too. So he's got 2 gold medals too. To sum up Stevie, he's been my favorite hockey player, and I get so a lot of the players, a lot of the people and the fans, you know, because he stopped scoring all those years after he started to become a defensive hockey player, but he made the ultimate sacrifice for the team, and ultimately he thanks Scotty Bowman till this day. That's what made them champions, because of defense. But what makes Steve Yzerman what he is, there's no 50-goal scorer in the league that can win face-offs like he does. There is no 100-assist player who goes down and blocks shots like Steve Yzerman. And there's no 100-point player who goes in the corners and truly plays 110%. And guess what? Look at the threshold of 19s in the league. Everyone's wearing number 19. Guess who they want to be? They want to be Steve Yzerman. And I don't blame him. He is just my favorite hockey player, my favorite person. He should be recognized as the all-time greatest sportsman, the sports athlete in all of sports. But he is the most underrated sports athlete in the history of sports. And I don't know why they don't give him his due. But they did retire his jersey for the Red Wings. And he did make it to the Hall of Fame, which, you know, that's the least that they can do. But next time you think about Steve Yzerman, really take into consideration everything he's done and who he is and how he quietly did what he did and the sacrifices he made and how he became this great two-way player. He actually started it all. 65 goals in 1 year, 90 assists that 1 year, 155 points. He scored 50 goals 5 years out of 6, 100 points 6 straight years. And he won a Selke trophy too. Stevie, I love you. Hopefully I can meet you sometime. Take care.